in Lima are winding down, and there are really three things that emerged for me during the week. That's the Fed, China, and investment. The Fed, of course, that was a question on everybody's mind, and the issue there, as it was ahead of the meetings, as it's been for weeks, even months now, is when the Federal Reserve is going to lift off from zero. This is a question, a concern of everyone. The debate, of course, revolves around whether the economy in the U.S. is ready for higher interest rates, and really an issue of credibility. The Fed has been talking about doing this for so long, has been setting everyone up for an increase first in June and then in September, and now we're pushing toward the end of the year, and there's a vibe here that if the Fed actually doesn't move, there's going to be serious questions raised about just whether the Fed has a handle on this situation, and it's just going to drive further uncertainty, which is sort of the backdrop for all the discussions here in Lima. The second issue, as it was before the meetings, just like the Fed, is China. That remains a black box for a lot of people. The Chinese authorities, at least in public, weren't particularly visible, weren't particularly out there trying to explain how they have been and how they intend to respond to the issues that economy is dealing with. Again, so you have a credibility question there, and a question on just how strong is the economy going forward. People are somewhat comfortable with the slower Chinese economy. They've been anticipating this. The message from the IMF, Managing Director Christine Lagarde, is that we can deal with growth of 6% or so in China. That's pretty good for a mature economy. The issue, of course, is people are unsure if it's really 6%. Is it 4%? Is it something lower? So that remains a concern. And the reason that's a concern is because that Chinese growth for so many years was driving the economies of emerging markets like Peru, for example. You hear commentary over the weekend that the shift in commodity prices related to the slower growth in China has, if not permanently, at least for a significant amount of time, shifted down the potential growth of countries like Peru. They just, with the commodity prices being what they are now, they just aren't going to be able to grow as fast as they were for the years leading up to the financial crisis, and even a little bit after the events of 2008, 2009. And that brings us to investment. The investment is really the consensus thing that the officials here think is necessary to get the global economy moving again, restore some momentum. The problem, of course, is there's no consensus on how to do this. There's really a divide about how aggressive government should be in trying to bring about this investment. The IMF is, one almost has to say tentatively, pushing the idea that government should be using their fiscal space more aggressively to hone in on things like railroads, airports, whatever might actually make economies more competitive and boost growth down the road. Yet there remains a strain of thought that this is not really anywhere governments need to go this aggressively. They should, retain fiscal balance and just sort of wait for private industry, the private sector to sort things out. So that is the question going forward. Where is the investment going to come from? That will be a debate that will carry on beyond these meetings into the G20, into the fall and beyond, as we wait for more clarity on what's going on with China and when the Fed raises from zero.